I'm going to take you back to a year of my life I never thought I'd talk about publicly. Honestly, if you'd asked me 5 years ago whether I'd ever sit down and tell the world how I fell in love with someone a decade younger than me, I would have laughed, maybe even rolled my eyes and changed the subject like nothing happened. But here we are. And if you're listening right now, I hope you'll stay with me through this, because this isn't just some cute little older woman, younger man fling story. It's not a punchline. It's not some scandal. It's a story about a moment I didn't expect, a connection that blindsided me, and a truth I had to learn the hard way. Love doesn't follow rules, and it sure as hell doesn't check birth certificates before it knocks on your door. My name's Olivia Carter, born in Columbus, Ohio. Lived most of my adult life bouncing between Chicago and Milwaukee because of work. I wasn't the adventurous type, not in the way people write books about. My life was schedules, spreadsheets, cold coffee, and a quiet apartment I pretended I liked because it saved me from facing how lonely I'd become. But everything changed the year I turned 40, and I'm going to tell you exactly how it happened. It started on a chilly afternoon in Madison, Wisconsin. That kind of late October chill that sticks to your coat even after you step indoors. I had just been transferred to a new office and had been assigned to oversee a small corporate training seminar at this local community center down on West Mifflin Street. Nothing dramatic, just another Thursday in my routine-driven life. And that's when I saw him. Ethan Walker, 28 years old. Baseball cap, faded denim jacket, easy smile. The kind of smile you notice even when you don't want to. I wasn't supposed to meet him that day. He wasn't part of my seminar. He was helping his friend run one of the tech stations in the same building. And yet somehow he ended up standing right behind me while I was struggling to lift a box of printed manuals off the floor. "Ma'am, you all right there?" he asked, stepping toward me. I remember freezing for a second, not because I minded the question, but because of that damn word, ma'am. It hit me straight in the age. "Yeah, I'm fine," I said, trying to sound breezy even as the box wobbled in my arms. He chuckled softly. "You sure? 'Cause that thing's about to take you down with it." I sighed, dropped the box on the table, and muttered, "Okay, maybe I needed a little help." He jumped in immediately, lifting it with one arm like it weighed nothing. "See? Teamwork," he said. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in what felt like months. And for a moment, the tension in my shoulders melted. We introduced ourselves, made small talk, and he walked away, leaving me with this strange flutter in my chest that I tried to ignore. He was friendly, he was respectful, and I was 40. I wasn't supposed to feel butterflies because some younger guy helped me lift a box. But that was the beginning. The second time we crossed paths was later that afternoon. I had stepped outside to breathe some fresh air and clear my head. The sun was dipping behind the buildings, painting the sky a burnt orange that felt too pretty for a day I'd written off as ordinary. I was leaning against the railing, scrolling through emails, when I heard his voice. "You look like someone fighting a war with her inbox," he said. I glanced up, and there he was again, standing a few feet away with a cup of coffee in each hand. "Accurate," I said. He extended one cup toward me. "Here, you look like you could use this more than I could." I hesitated. "You don't even know how I take it." "Black with a little sugar," he said confidently. I blinked. "How'd you guess?" "Lucky guess," he shrugged, then smirked. Or maybe I just noticed the sugar packets next to the stack of manuals earlier. I shook my head, smiling in spite of myself. Something about him felt warm, familiar, safe in a way I didn't expect from someone I'd known less than a day. We talked for maybe 15 minutes. Work, weather, why he was there, why I was there. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing earth-shattering, just two strangers sharing coffee outside a community center in Wisconsin. But when he laughed with his whole face. When he listened like the world wasn't rushing him. And when he looked at me, I didn't feel invisible. I didn't feel like the background character in my own life anymore. He made me feel seen. And that terrified me, because the moment I felt that spark, I pulled back. I excused myself quickly, claiming I needed to check on my seminar, and I walked away fast, almost too fast, heart pounding in a way I couldn't explain. I told myself it was nothing. Just a friendly encounter, just a younger guy being polite. I was a grown woman with a career and responsibilities, not some teenager catching feelings over a cute stranger with an easy smile. But the universe has a cruel sense of humor sometimes. Because the next morning, I walked into the same building, and there he was again. This time, sitting at the reception desk, typing something on the computer, sleeves rolled up, headphones dangling around his neck. I froze right there in the entrance, cursing silently because apparently life had decided to put him in my path again. He noticed me almost instantly, and his whole face lit up. "Olivia, morning." That shouldn't have made my chest tighten the way it did, but it did. I walked over slowly. "Morning, Ethan. Didn't know you'd be here again." He leaned back in his chair. My friend needed help setting up more equipment, and I needed something to do before heading to work anyway. "Work? What do you do?" I asked. "I'm a freelance videographer," he said. "Weddings, small business promos, stuff like that. Hoping to get into documentary work eventually." Documentaries. God, that hit me harder than it should have. I'd always been a documentary junkie. Before I could stop myself, I said, "That's actually really cool." He smiled, softer this time. "Thanks." Then he said it, the sentence that would stick with me for days. "You know, I like seeing you around here." I swallowed hard. "Ethan, I'm not saying anything weird," he added gently. "You just seem like someone who could use a friend." A friend. He said it so casually, but I felt it like a punch to the chest. Because he wasn't wrong. I did need a friend. I needed something, someone. But at that moment, all I could think about was the age difference, sitting between us like a barricade. Still, we talked again and again. Small moments stolen between tasks, minutes turning into hours without either of us meaning to. He made me laugh in ways I hadn't laughed in years. He made me forget about deadlines and expectations and the heavy weight of being a woman who'd spent most of her 30s prioritizing everything except her own happiness. He saw me. Not the manager, not the woman who had her life together. Just me. And I felt something shift inside, something warm and terrifying at the same time. The turning point happened a week later. The seminar was finally over. My work there was done. I had packed up everything, double-checked the equipment list, and walked out into the cool November evening, feeling relieved that I wouldn't have to face him again or face my own feelings. I was halfway down the block when I heard someone calling my name. "Olivia, hold on!" I turned, and there he was, jogging toward me, breathless, jacket half-zipped. "You're leaving already?" he asked. "Yeah," I said quietly. "My assignment here is done. I won't be coming back." His smile faded. "Oh." We stood there in silence, surrounded by the sound of cars rolling down the street and the distant chime of the Capitol Square clock tower. Then he said, almost whispering, "Can I walk you to your car?" I hesitated. I shouldn't have said yes. Not if I wanted to protect myself. Not if I wanted to avoid crossing a line I wasn't sure I could uncross. But I did. I said yes, and we walked. Slow, quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like something is building underneath it. When we reached my car, I turned to him. "Thanks for everything." He nodded, hands tucked in his pockets. "Hey, can I ask you something?" Before I could answer, he took a breath and said, "Did I do something wrong? 'Cause it feels like you're trying to run away from me." My heart clenched hard. "It's not that," I whispered. "Then what is it?" I looked at him, really looked, and the truth sat between us like a glass wall. "You're 28, I said softly, "and I'm not." He inhaled slowly, then stepped closer. "I know how old you are, Olivia, and I still look for you every time I walk into this building." I felt heat rising in my chest, panic, hope, fear, all tangled together. "You don't know what you're saying," I whispered. "Yeah," he said, voice low. "I do." There was no kiss, no dramatic embrace, just silence, thick and electric, as we stood inches apart under a flickering street lamp on a cold Wisconsin evening. But it was the moment everything changed. The moment I realized I cared about him more than I wanted to admit. The moment he reached out with just his eyes and said everything he didn't voice out loud. I got in my car, closed the door, and drove away. My hands were shaking the whole time. My heart felt like it was trying to break out of my chest. When I got home, I sat on the couch, stared at the wall, and whispered to myself, "What are you doing?" But the truth was already settled deep inside me. Something real had happened. Something rare, something terrifying, and I had no idea what to do next. I wish I could tell you that I slept that night, that I brushed off the entire moment in the parking lot and moved on like a reasonable adult. But that would be a lie. I barely closed my eyes. I kept replaying his voice, that quiet way he'd said he looked for me every time he walked into the building. You ever have a truth hit you so hard you can't outrun it, no matter how fast you move? That was me. I had feelings for him, feelings I shouldn't have, feelings I didn't ask for. I tried to talk myself out of it, told myself it was loneliness, flattery, a temporary spark that would fade once we went our separate ways. I even made plans to bury myself in the work, avoid downtown, avoid that part of Madison completely. But life doesn't care about your plans. 4 days later, my phone buzzed while I was in the middle of prepping a presentation. Unknown number. Almost ignored it, but curiosity won. "Hey, it's Ethan. I got your number from the sign-in sheet. Hope you don't mind." My heart did a full somersault. I should have ignored it, but I didn't. I called him back. He answered on the second ring, sounding a little breathless, like he wasn't expecting me to call so fast. "Hey," he said softly. "Hey," I replied. "What's up?" There was a short pause, then he said, "I just wanted to make sure you got home okay the other night. And I kind of missed talking to you." I pressed my fingers against my forehead, trying to stay steady. "Ethan, I know, the age thing, I get it," he said quickly. "But I just want to talk. Friends. Nothing weird, just talk." Friends. That word again. A safe word, a dangerous one. Against every instinct, I said yes. We talked for 20 minutes that day, then an hour the next, then 2 the day after. Soon he'd text me good morning before his coffee runs, and I'd send him photos of whatever sunrise I caught from my apartment window. We didn't flirt. Not at first. We stayed inside that safe bubble he'd built. But the emotional closeness grew fast, faster than I could control. One night, around 11 p.m., right when I was about to put my phone down, he texted, "Are you awake?" I replied, "Yeah, you okay?" His next message hit harder than I expected. "I know you're older. I know it scares you, but I need you to know something. You're not a phase to me." I sat there staring at my screen, chest tight, unable to breathe for a full minute. I could have shut it down. I could have pushed him away, but the truth? I didn't want to. I typed a long message, deleted it, typed another, deleted that one too. Finally, I sent something honest. "I'm scared because I care." 3 dots appeared, then went away, appeared again, then his reply. "Then let me meet you where you are." That was the night everything shifted. 2 days later, he asked if we could meet for coffee. "As friends," he added, though we both knew it was more than that. I said yes. Of course I said yes. We chose this tiny local place on Monroe Street. Wooden tables, Edison bulbs hanging from the ceiling, indie music humming in the background. When I walked in, he was already there, hands wrapped around a mug, eyes lifting the second he felt me near. "Olivia," he said softly, and my knees almost buckled. We talked for hours, real things, honest things, childhood memories, dreams he had, dreams I'd buried, the years I'd spent putting everyone else first. He listened with this focus that made me feel like I wasn't just passing time. I mattered. I hadn't felt that in a long time. When the conversation turned quiet, he leaned in slightly and whispered, "I'm not here to make your life complicated. I just like you, and I don't care that you're older." I exhaled shakily. "But people will." "Let them," he said. "They don't get to live our lives." That was the moment he reached across the table and let his fingers brush mine, Not a full handhold, not anything reckless, just a slow, gentle touch that sent heat racing up my arm. It was small, it was simple, but it was everything. I didn't pull away, and that's how it began. Our relationship didn't explode into existence. It grew, quiet, steady, cautious. We kept it private, not because we were ashamed, but because we wanted to protect something fragile and new. We took walks around Lake Wingra at sunset, sat on park benches drinking hot chocolate, talked in my car when the Wisconsin cold got too sharp. He always initiated conversations about the age gap before I did, almost like he knew when the insecurity crept in. But every time he steadied me. "This isn't weird to me," he'd say. "You make sense to me." And I believed him, more than I believed myself. But love stories, the real ones, always have tests, and ours came crashing in one Saturday afternoon at a family cookout of mine. I hadn't planned to introduce him yet, but he insisted on coming to Madison early that day, and we ended up together near the lakeshore. My sister called saying I better show up to the barbecue because everyone wanted to see me. Ethan squeezed my hand gently. "Maybe it's time," he said. I was terrified, but I let him come with me. The moment we stepped into my sister's backyard, the chatter died down. Everyone looked, everyone noticed. My nephew whispered loudly, "He looks young." My aunt raised her brows so high they practically disappeared into her hairline. But the worst moment came when my cousin, loud, blunt, and 2 beers in, laughed and said, "Liv, you babysitting now or what?" I felt my face burn. My heart dropped. I wanted to disappear. But before I could say anything, Ethan stepped forward, held out his hand, and said with absolute calm, "I'm Ethan, and I'm here because I care about Olivia, not because of how old she is." The entire yard went quiet. My cousin blinked, stunned. My sister softened. My aunt looked away, and I felt something inside me break open. He had defended us without a second thought. He had chosen us, chosen me. Later, when we were alone on the back porch, I whispered, "You didn't have to do that." He looked at me, eyes steady. "Yeah, I did." Then he added, "I'm not going anywhere." That was the moment I fell in love with him completely, but love, even the strongest kind, isn't immune to fear. And mine hit hard one night in early December. I had a stressful day at work, received a promotion I wasn't sure I wanted, and all the old doubts crept back. I started thinking about the future, his future, and how I might hold him back. When he showed up at my apartment with takeout and that warm smile of his, I broke. "I don't know if this is fair to you," I said. "You're younger. You haven't lived your whole life yet. Maybe I'm taking something from you." He put the food down slowly, walked over, and rested his hands on my shoulders. "Olivia, look at me." I did. "This isn't something happening to me. This is something I'm choosing." But what if, he shook his head gently, what if we stop worrying about who's older and just love each other? I closed my eyes, let the words sink in, let the fear loosen its grip. "I'm scared," I admitted. "Me too," he whispered. "That's how you know it's real." We held each other for a long time that night. No fear, no age, just us. 2 people who found something rare in a world that rarely slows down long enough for moments like this. He stayed with me until the morning. We watched the sun rise through my curtains, soft and golden, warming the room. As the light hit his face, he smiled and brushed a strand of the hair behind my ear. "You're my person, Olivia," he said. And for the first time in years, I believed I could be someone's person again. Our love didn't make sense to everyone, but it made sense to us. We traveled, we dreamed, we built plans, real ones, a future neither of us was afraid to talk about. And the biggest realization I had? Age wasn't the barrier. Fear was, doubt was, people's opinions were. But love didn't care. Love just showed up, honest, raw, unpredictable, and asked whether I was brave enough to choose it. And I did, every single day. So if you're sitting there listening to this, wondering whether you're too old, too late, too different, too unconventional, hear me clearly. You are not running out of time. You are not unlovable. You are not broken. Because your story looks different from what people expect. Because mine did too. And it brought me the most meaningful connection of my life. Ethan once told me, love isn't about age, it's about timing. And we found each other at the exact moment we were meant to. He was right. He still is. And that's the truth I carry with me. The truth I want you to remember. Love doesn't check your birth date. Love doesn't care about judgment. Love doesn't arrive early or late. It arrives exactly when your heart is ready. And sometimes it shows up in the form of a younger man with a warm smile, a brave heart, and a way of seeing you that makes you believe in yourself again. That's what happened to me. That's what saved me. And that's why I can say this without hesitation. Love knows no age, and mine found me right on time.